New details tonight in The Missing Mom out of Virginia, Mama Coughley. And might shed some light on this. Might make it a little more confusing. But I think it raises a lot of issues here, these new details that we're getting. Great to see everyone tonight. We'll be getting to your comments shortly, but let's begin here. This is a timeline that we have on this case getting a little more interesting as we get these new details. Great to see everyone on this Sunday night special. Oh boy. Hope your Sunday's going all right, folks. Hope your Sunday's going okay. Wait for a few more people to fill in here, but yeah, those of you who don't know the story, this is a mother, pretty much a newborn. It's getting ready to, I think next month will be 1 year old. So it's a little child. This is a pediatric nurse. So is she going to get up and leave voluntarily on her own without her child? I don't think so. Call me crazy. I never met her, but I just don't think that is necessarily within the realm of possibility. A lot of people don't know a lot about this. So this mom, we're getting the new details. You'll learn a lot more. So she was reported missing by her husband as a missing person on August 5th. On August 2nd, police went to the house for a welfare check, a wellness check, because of a call on August 1st from Mamat's co-workers at the hospital where she was. The last time anyone saw her at the hospital was on the 27th. The last time she spoke with someone not within her household, I guess is the best way to put it, was on July 28th. Her husband says she last saw her on the 31st. So the real important parts here are trying to figure out what was going on inside the home. What was the nature of her relationship with her husband? Her husband did speak at, it was sort of a gathering of people, and he spoke briefly. And I think what we're learning now may put a little more context on his reaction here. On the 2nd, he hadn't seen her since the 31st, but on the 2nd, there wasn't a super level of concern from the part of police based upon their conversation with the husband, the father of the child, and they did not have enough to say that she was involuntarily missing. Well, now they do have enough for her to be involuntarily missing. And that happened after he went back and spoke with them on the 5th. But now we know a little more about the nature and some of the background in this relationship. This was an arranged marriage. Hold on one second. Really? Hold on 1 second, folks. 1 second, folks. Be right with you. Unless they're underneath. Are they underneath here? They were definitely here. But I don't know. Where they would have gone. One moment. I may have brought them back upstairs because I knew I didn't need them for anything. Door open. All right. We're back. Okay. All right. So let's get to the nature of this relationship. First thing you need to know. Yeah, exactly. The couple had an arranged marriage, which goes back to 2020. And Mamat emigrated to the United States in 2021. Okay. So she comes to the country in 2021, an arranged marriage in 2020. A little glucose. Okay. So, different cultures do things differently. I'm not going to judge an arranged marriage. It is what it is, but it tells you a little bit more about the nature of how they got together. They didn't fall in love. They were placed together. And I don't know. I guess there are a lot of situations where that works out very well. Mumta? Someone is saying it's pronounced Mumta, even though it's Mamta. Oh, I guess the A is a U. All right, so we'll go Mumta. All right, hold on one second. A lot of things going on here tonight. Anyway, okay. So an arranged marriage, and so it's not your typical love story. Okay, they could fall in love, they could last forever, or they can't. And here, it doesn't look like it's lasting forever. It doesn't look like it's a love story, and I'll tell you why, because of some of the other information that we're getting. So back in February. You go back in February, and in February, she left the home. In February, Mamat, along with her baby, went to another woman's home in February without money, a car, or a working phone. So the friend bought her a used phone and added her to her family's phone plan to make sure she could coordinate rideshare trips to her shifts working at the hospital. Now, this friend also indicated that at some point, Mamat also got or attained her own apartment. So there's not necessarily, it's not bliss at home. This arranged marriage was not going well after the birth of the baby, apparently. Now, there's some other information that's going on here as well. Okay? Some other information. What you have is Mamat apparently joining a Facebook group for single mothers and asking for some help. Okay. In a couple of posts from her account, so we would presume it's her in her account. Give me a reason why we wouldn't think it was her account. She's asking for help on navigating separation and retaining custody. Okay. So to me, this speaks volumes. Things are not going well. She wants to separate, wants to obviously retain custody of her baby. Now, apparently from that point in February, she at some point did come back and was back in the marital home. But it also explains to me the behavior of the husband, right? So, and it cuts both ways here. I'm not convicting the guy of anything. But it cuts both ways, because on the one hand, he doesn't seem that concerned. Maybe he's not so in love, number one. But number two, he also has seen behavior where she has left before, voluntarily has left the home. So that would explain, on the one hand, from his perspective, the lack of extreme concern for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, until he gets to the bottom of what's happening and nobody has seen her. So I give him a pass on that. I actually give him all right. That's a reasonable explanation. But the other time that she left, apparently she had the baby, and in this circumstance, she did not have the baby. So that's different. That's different. Yes, she's leaving. That's the same. But it's different in that the baby did not go with her. So when he explains to law enforcement that she has left before voluntarily, the police say, okay, if this has happened before and she's come back, she's lived somewhere, why don't you go check with all of the friends, etc., and then let us know if there's no sign of her, which is apparently what he did. Which is why he keeps saying, talk to the police, talk to the police. So if you think about that for a moment or two, that she has left him, that tells me there's problems. Things are not good. It's not a good situation. She doesn't want to be with him. But perhaps is with him out of necessity because of whatever financial circumstances of being able to live on your own. Now, another member of that group is also on record as saying that the Facebook group, the members of that group connected Mamat with local domestic violence shelters and support groups. Red flag right there. Red flag right there. Not a conviction, but a red flag. So if she's now reaching out in this group earlier this year and seeking how to get out, keep custody, and looking for domestic violence shelter, and then she goes missing without the baby. Okay. If all of that is true, you've got to search the house. You've got to do an investigation of the husband. You have to. If that is true. If what people who are showing up and searching for this woman are saying is true, people who didn't meet her but were part of a Facebook group, a support group, and she was seeking support and looking for a domestic violence shelter, if that's true, you know what you have to do. You know who has to be investigated. And if you start gathering information like that, you should be able to get enough for probable cause. Now, I would hope that police asked the husband to, hey, can we look around the apartment a little bit? Can we look around the house? Because that would be a natural, like you can consent to a search. You consent to a search, whatever you find can and will be used if there's a need to use it. he does not have to voluntarily submit and allow a search of the property. But if he doesn't, there's another red flag. Then there's not but they say he's been cooperating. So if he's cooperating, he's cooperating. You're either cooperating or you're not. To me, cooperating when the wife and the mother of your child is missing means very simply doing anything that law enforcement wants you to do. Come in the house, check her phone, check my phone, look at everything, look at the car, whatever you want, take a look. You need to find her. Because two things. One, the two things could be uncovered. If she voluntarily left and was going somewhere or was in contact with someone somewhere, that search might help uncover that. Or if something happened to her in the home, obviously it would uncover that as well. Now it's Momta. I see Momta. Momta seems like it would be the best way to go here. And a lot of comments already. So now there's something else that's very troubling that goes to the timeline here, is that Momta would call her mom every morning, every evening. And she did not call on July 31st. No call back to Nepal to her mother, either in the morning or the evening of July 31st. Why is that important? Why is that important? Because the husband said he saw her on July 31st. That's a conflict, I think. It doesn't, there could be an explanation. Like if she disappeared after her husband saw her on the 31st, but before she was going to call her mother, but she calls her mother in the morning and in the evening. Now, I don't know the time difference between Virginia and Nepal. I'm sure someone in the chat room will figure it out in 2 seconds. But if she's calling every morning and every evening, is it the morning and evening over there? Is it the morning? Is it the evening over here? My guess is probably like the morning here might be the evening there, and the evening here might be the morning there. And that might be when the calls are. But she's calling her mom in Nepal twice a day to talk about anything. It's just the normal course of things, calling back home to Nepal. Like she would talk about anything. Now, her brother has given an interview, and her brother is over there in Nepal. And this is what has me a little, so the brother wants to come here to search for his missing baby sister, but he's got to go through all these steps to do it, which, right? Doesn't that get you a little frustrated when it's like millions of people are coming in here breaking the rules? Whatever your thoughts are on that, they are, but they're able to do it very easily. Like once they cross the border, everything is very easy. But for someone who wants to come into the country to search for his baby sister, it's a little challenge, and he's working on it to get here. He wants to get here as soon as he can to find his baby sister, but to do it the right way, he's got to get all the correct approvals. Like for me, there should be a hotline for an approval there. Missing relative, like someone should be able to cut some red tape there for this guy to get over here. With all the other red tape that's been cut for everybody else, how about for the guy who's looking for his sister? He's got to be out of his mind, right? Because how frustrating to be a family member. My sister is missing. And I can't get there to help the search. And he wants to be here. My guess is he will be here as soon as possible. I just hope possible. Hope he's getting some help somewhere to make that possible a lot quicker. So to me, these new details are all troubling. But to me, the biggest one is that timeline. If he says he sees her on the 31st, Okay, that's right now our last documented proof of life, proof of where she is, according to the husband. So when would she disappear on the 31st? Based upon when she usually calls her mother. Why wouldn't you call your mother? Like if you're going to go somewhere, why wouldn't you call her? So the question is, did she get a call? Did the mother get a call on the 30th? Right? Did she get a call on the 30th and then did not get one on the 31st? Yeah. So the brother's trying to get a visa to come search. Like, can we give him the visa, please? Can we give him the visa, please? So he can come here and help organize and lead the search and beat the drum and do everything he can to find his sister. I feel bad for him. Yeah. So they had a disagreement in February, stayed with someone else for a week, may have gotten her own place for a short time, but then went back to the home. But I don't know if things were patched up or it was a necessity just to go home or maybe giving it one more try. But if she had been reaching out for support on how to leave, I was looking for a DV shelter. That's bad. That means that there's problems there. That there's things are not good at home. Things are not good at home. That's problematic. Very problematic in this case. You know, to get in the country, the best person to get is someone who's connected. Like you would need a political connection to cut through the red tape. That's how it happens. Like there's legal ways to do it, right? You get a lawyer, the lawyer makes application, emergency application in court somewhere. That's one way. But if you get like a US senator or someone, that's who they need to reach out to. Like reach out maybe to the consulate. The consulate reaches out to their political connections to cut some of that red tape to get the brother over here. Tammy with a great observation. That baby is adorable, right? Wow. Cute little baby. Cute, cute, cute. Kubi watching tonight. Great to see you, Kubi. Thank you for joining the program. Sunday night special. Got a little activity in the house here. I may have to check, make sure everything's all right upstairs. In just a moment. Yeah, we're reaching out, trying to get some people connected to the story on my TV show. So we'll see if we can get through. Try to reach out to the brother as well. Yeah. Bren Boot. Yeah. Go to the embassy. And, you know, theoretically, maybe the husband should be helping his brother-in-law. Right. I think he's in the military. I'm not sure, but I think he's in the military. So he may have some connections himself. And I'm not convicting him. I'm just saying you need to look at what was going on in the house. And the fact that she left, you know, does make it more plausible that the husband wouldn't be so worried a couple days later because she had done this before. But the last time she did it, she had the baby. This time she didn't have the baby. That's, to me, big, big, big difference here. Big difference. But do we think this man wants to raise the baby on his own? Like, I don't know. I can't read that much into it. But he's pretty he's got his hands full. Like you even saw him at the when they had the little search party, had all the people that were speaking. Um, he seemed a little distracted. Seemed a little distracted. Amanda Stowicki with us tonight. Hello, Amanda. Great to see you. Genome woman. It has to be State Department or senators. Yeah, that's who's going to help you. State Department or usually when I've seen stories that have this kind of issue, whether it's the issues here, trying to get someone here or trying to get someone from here to a foreign country to get help, U.S. senators are usually the best way. If you can get the ear, and that's why, the story needs to have a little more juice behind it, because that's when politicians react, when, people are starting to clamor a little bit. People are starting to make a little bit of noise. So I think that's the best approach. Local news is on this. The local news is definitely on this. Washington Post is jumping on it, and that's big. That's big because that's, this is all happening near Washington anyway. So it would seem that it's not going to go under the radar locally there. So it might have some level of an opportunity. Sky Ricky wants to know if he has a girlfriend. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about that. I mean, he showed up when everyone was searching. No one's really pointing the finger at him. I think people are just searching. Is he actively searching, or is he taking care of the baby, or what's going on? I don't know. But there was a search. There was a group of nurses. There were a group of people who didn't even know her showing up. So it's starting to gather a little bit of the steam that you need to get the attention that it needs. YouTube bad actors is already, the husband did it. Well, hasn't been charged with anything. There's been no sign of foul play other than the fact that she's now been determined to be involuntarily missing. But thank you, YouTube bad actors. Shaza Sheehan. You hear about certain cultures murdering women because she has upset her husband or his family, and he even trying to leave. Is this something to consider? Well, obviously it's an arranged situation, so there was a big cultural impact on the way this couple got together to begin with. And the question is, I know nothing about folks from Nepal, really. Know very little about their culture. I've never studied it, had no friends from this world, so I know very little myself. So it could come into play. It obviously has already come into play in the fact of the way that they met. An arranged marriage. I mean, arranged marriages aren't super common in the United States for people who were born in this country. Whether you're first generation, second generation, or 20th generation, it's not super common here. But it's more common in other cultures. And apparently, I guess in this culture, it might be very common. Laura Wagner says, if she were American, this would be a much bigger story, though. Well, I would say yes and no, because there's missing people everywhere, right? And how a story gets bigger, partly, how do I put the things that draw the attention, and it's the attention of the public, right? And sometimes the media can report on a story and it just has no traction, right? There's no reaction from the public for whatever reason that it would be. But then there are reasons why there is the public attention. A lot of times it's how much people connected are speaking about it. Okay. So let me put it this way. The more the people close to Mamat are that are speaking, and being very public about the search, the loss, the story, the facts, etc., the more play this will get in the media, because more people will be interested in it, because there'll be more of a connection, because she's a stranger, right? But if you hear her story from her friends, you hear her story from her loved ones, then people are going to feel more connected to her. When children go missing, there's almost always a natural connection because they're children, right? Um, but for adults, there's not a connection for every missing adult, unfortunately. But it is what it is. So the ones that become bigger stories are the ones where there is a public reaction. Like the media on its own cannot make a story big. And trust me, I know, because we monitor when we cover stories, we monitor which ones have interest, which ones don't have interest, which ones resonate. And you see it on social media. You'll see which ones get the comments, which ones, which ones sort of resonate. And a lot of times it has to do with the story and understanding who the missing person is. And then once you have that level of connection, then there's going to be more interest, and people will start to follow through. To me, it's all this picture. This is the picture I show, because this is the picture I feel that you would connect with. Because, yeah, the mom's looking at the camera, but what's the baby looking at? Where's the baby's looking at mom? And that's who's missing. And it's that baby who's missing her mother. That baby's going to be 1 year old soon. And mom's not here. That, to me, that's the story. That's the connection. And that's what I believe should and does resonate with people who hear about it. And that's why I think this story will gain a little more traction with the public, which will help get a resolution, because the more eyeballs on it, the more that we see, the more that we hear about this, someone may know something or saw something or heard something. And they may have seen something and didn't realize it wasn't even important. Oh, yeah, I saw her, or I heard her say something, right? You get people talking, and then you get people literally searching, and then the pressure is on investigators to get an answer. And the more people talk, the more information bubbles up, and information can turn into leads, can turn into probable cause for searches, etc., which then drum up the information and the evidence that can lead you to something here. So, all right, hide and seek. If DV involved, she would not have left her baby in that type of environment. She would have taken her baby with her, which is what she did apparently in February. So she took the baby in February. She's going to leave the baby. This mom's not leaving the baby. This isn't. There's been no information proffered by anyone that this is a mom who's having a mental breakdown and is just going to wander away. Now, she could have left the home for a short while, just to blow off some steam or to get out of a situation just on her own for just a short time, and then something bad could have happened. I mean, that's very possible, which is why the timeline is so significant, which is why I wanted to hear more from the husband. When was the exact time that you spoke with her? When was the last time that you saw her? Where did she go? Where should we be looking? What is the key time to zero in on that someone would have seen something or noticed something? But that's not coming out. That's not coming out. It's a very vague kind of story. He did speak with police for a while. Police haven't released any of that for whatever reason, to sort of focus the public in a certain place or a certain time. Okay, angelic darkness. And this is, she's pointing out something that I think locally the folks are very concerned about as well. The unfortunate part is she left before, and some police departments dragged their feet at first, which is what happened here, because he said, yeah, she left before. This is on the 2nd. And the police said, listen, go check with everybody, check with the friends, check with the family, check with work. You don't, if no one has seen her, then give us a call back and we'll officially make her involuntary missing. And that waited until the 5th. So it's almost like a week that she is gone. And then it's like 3 more days before they start printing the flyers and everything starts really happening. And that's what people are upset about. That the police were there on the 2nd, but nothing really happened till the 8th. Like it waited a whole nother week. So, oh, Dolly was there. Dolly Vision was at the search. Good. I'll check out what he posted on that. And this is good news as well from X. Nancy Grace had this on. That's huge, right? Nancy Grace is doing the story as well. That's good. Dolly Vision's doing the story. You know what? When you're on these other channels, let's see if we get the other channels to do this one. Let's get a little pressure here until we get a little more urgency in the air. Sleepy Tombs, hoping they're checking the water canals. Well, that part of the country, you have a lot of them, right? There's a whole bunch there. They're living in Manassas Park. On that whole area, there's lots of water. Kimberly B says, and Kimberly B is local, by the way, there's a billboard campaign in the works with the GoFundMe money and peaceful gatherings occurring regularly at the police station. It's been a quiet but big storm for sure. Well, you got all the nurses, right? So the nurses really are the ones who, people notice. The nurses show up in their scrubs and they're searching. And people are like, well, what are all these nurses looking for? They're looking for another nurse. And think about the work and the lives that nurses lead, right? It's not easy work. They're on the front lines. They're the ones making contact with the patients, people who are in their, in a bad place, perhaps their worst day. And they're the ones who have to help them, take care of them. And she's a pediatric nurse, which can be great, can also be heartbreaking at the same time. So I think that's why people will reach out. And this is not good. Woman reminds me of Chris Watts. That's not someone you want to be compared to, right? And this is the story. Sharon Fraley, that baby needs her mommy. Period. She needs her now, and she'll need her for the rest of her life. Think about this, right? Because Mamat is calling her mom every day, every morning, every night of every day. She's calling her mom in Nepal every day, checking in with mom. So you don't think that Mamat's baby needs her just like she needed her mom? Joan Esposito, Vinny, looking at this, since there's nobody, is there any probable cause at this point to charge him? I guess unless they're still investigating something. See, the probable cause to charge him with what, right? You've got to have some evidence that something was done. So I think what you're looking for is enough to get a warrant to do the types of searches and surveillance that you need to do. And they may have done that. They might have the phones tapped. Who knows? But I don't think they're there yet. And the timeline here, think about it. Police show up there on the 2nd, but then they go away. It's just a conversation. I don't even know if they got in the house or not. And then on the 5th, he goes to the precinct to make the report. Mary Swampy, sure, she may have been kidnapped, but we know statistically what this looks like. Yeah, we all know what this looks like. We all know, and we all hope that's not what it is. But now we know that there's a history of problems. Again, it can be interpreted two ways. That's why he wasn't concerned, and that's why he's not like tearful. Like if this was his wife, like on paper, and the mother of his child on paper, but like, he didn't have those types of feelings for her and things weren't great. Could explain why he didn't seem so broken up at the time, or just could be the way he is. But it also explains why he wouldn't be concerned the first few days, but her leaving the baby. I don't think she would leave the baby. I don't think she would not call her mother on the 31st. And he's the one who said he saw her on the 31st. So that's his date. He has locked it in. The 31st, I saw her. Okay. Why didn't she call her mother on the 31st? Why didn't she call her mother? Catherine saying she probably wanted to leave him. Well, at one point, according to friends, she did, and she was researching and wanted help and did actually leave for a short time period back in February. Okay, SV, new details. 1, there's a history here. There is a history. She left him in February with the baby, stayed with a friend for a week. There are reports from people who said she was part of a Facebook group, a support group that helped women trying to navigate their way out of situations. And she was looking for help and information on how to get to a DV shelter and how to navigate separating and retaining custody of the child. That's new. Mamat's brother has also spoken to a reporter and has said that Mamat would call her mother every morning, every evening. I don't know if it's morning American time or morning in Nepal. Either way, twice a day. And she did not call on the 31st. And Mamat's husband says that he saw her last on the 31st, which brings me to my big question. Why didn't she call her mom on the 31st? Why didn't she call her mom on the 31st? Interesting fact here from Scott05, arranged marriage, 68% in Nepal. So it works. I guess it works. Didn't work in this situation. Seemingly didn't work. Okay. Essay. Here we go. The pronunciation of this name is just going to be impossible. I don't think, You're saying it's Mamta. Is that Mamta? Mamta? Mumta? I've seen and heard it all three ways. I'm going to say Mamta. I think that's the most likely. Husband said last time she went and stayed with her friend was because they had her in-laws were staying. Okay, that's what he said. That's not what the people she was staying with are saying. The people she was staying with are saying something different. That's a red flag. If he's got a cover story that everything was fine, she just left because we had people over, that doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right to me. The story should be consistent. The story from the friend was that they were having some well, they had a fight, a disagreement, right? But could the disagreement be about the in-laws staying? That could be part of the disagreement, obviously. But why would she be seeking separation, information about a shelter? So if these people are telling the truth from the Facebook group and her friends are telling the truth, that's inconsistent, I think, with she's just leaving to make room for the in-laws. Hmm. What's also interesting, we don't have any video from anywhere. A lot of missing persons. Sometimes you'll see some video of something, and they'll release it. Say, here's the last time she's seen on video. In a certain place. That doesn't exist here. Mm. Husband was blinking a lot, maybe stressed. Mariella Angulo. Marielle, yeah, I think the stress is there. No matter what the situation is, there's going to be some stress there. Stress that he's taking care of the baby by himself. Stress that she's missing. Stress that everybody is now starting to pay attention to this story, right? So it could be a lot of reasons for him. Some of them are not good. A lot of them are not good for him. All right. 1 second. All right, here we go. This is where is here it is. Okay. Roxanne. He had people at the vigil speaking highly of him. I think it was either his family member or brother or friend. Yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't know, but we do know she wanted to leave in February, according to friends and Facebook group members. That's what they're saying. It's not what he's saying. So they're saying different things here. All right. Just take a moment to thank the Mod Squad. We've got Gen X, Frankie Figs, Jennifer Sube, and Melly, all keeping law and order in the chat tonight. Thank you so much. There's Gen X thanking LAW. Glad you made it tonight on a Sunday night special. Margaret Morris called her on. I'm new to this incident. So sad. Pray she's fat. Yeah, pray for that baby. Pray for that baby. That's who you're praying for. Jennifer Sube, I wish this would stop happening with missing moms. Yeah. Well, it does. It just happens, period. It happens. I think the difference now is that the community can connect a lot quicker. There's a lot of bad things about social media. We know the dangers, especially for kids. But the good thing for social media is that word can spread quickly. And in this area of the world where, true crime, missing people, it's huge. It's huge. It's a huge way to raise awareness, shake things up, look for leads, keep pressure on law enforcement. Maureen McDermott, was there ever a restraining order taken out on him? I do not believe so. I do not believe so. And this, to me, is the big difference from Anita Mayu Wilson. She took the baby when she left before, not this time. Moms don't leave babies behind. They just don't. Not moms like this. Moms who are pediatric nurses going to leave the baby behind? No. And Sally Vella going back in time. I remember Vinny doing the Travis Alexander trial with all the renderings of how he was tortured in his own apartment. Yes, that was back in the day on my show After Dark, HLN After Dark. We basically recreated the crime scene in that case, and based upon the testimony, the evidence, the forensics, and everything. Would examine it with our special guests, etc. All right, Melly, please show some love and support. Give us the likes, give us the follows. We got close to 1,500 at this point. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on X. X, if you're watching, post a comment. I want to put an X comment up there. Simplify JLR on this story also. JLR is absolutely on it. Absolutely on this story. That's good. That's good. Let's get everybody on it. Let's get everybody on it. Patty L, has law enforcement checked inside the house? Does he have a freezer or a missing carpet? I don't know if they've done that search. I don't think they've done that search. Right? That's where the evidence would be. So how do you get in there? Well, there's two ways that you get in. You ask for him to voluntarily let you in, to give you permission. And then if he says, no, I don't want you inside my house, then you'd have to get a judge to sign a warrant. And that way you would need some reasonable, articulable suspicion. And you'd have to dig for that a little bit. You'd have to dig for that a little bit to get inside the house. And you want to get in vehicles as well. Those are the places you search. And a lot of times, even if you've got time to clean things up, in domestic situations, it's rare. Like usually if you have like a serial killer, someone like that, they might be a little more meticulous and prepared for the moment. But if this happens in a DV situation, the person is not going to be prepared for it. So everything is reactionary, which, causes more potential mess ups if that's what happened here. But the longer, the more time passes by, the more difficult all of this gets. We also found out this is an arranged marriage. Mm-hmm. And Patricia, my mom is my best friend. There you go. There you go. The Potomac River, Potomac River isn't far from here. Supposedly the father's an avid fisherman, has the search team checked out his fishing spots. So you get back to the timeline. So if you're going to presume that and this again, he there's been no sign of foul play. No one's been arrested. No one's been charged. No one's been named as a suspect. We have no idea what happened here. But working under different theories of what could have happened. For instance, if the husband was involved, you got to tie down the timeline, and you'd have to take the 31st with a grain of salt and move backwards from there. When was the last time she spoke to her mother? I think would be the most important thing to find out. Ooh, Kimberly, this is great information. Her green card is missing, and she missed her naturalization appointment on August 5th. If she left on her own, no way she'd miss that. Well, I think there's two things, right? She could, if she left on her own and then something bad happened, right? It'd have to be a two-pronged approach to it. 2 steps, for her to miss this important date for her, right? Super important date. So if she left voluntarily on her own, then there'd have to be another intervening cause to make her miss that date if she left on her own. And LAW thanking Gen X to the 7th power. Your new name stands out. Thank you for all you do. Everyone's looking at the husband. Oh, here we go. Melly, yes, I mod many channels, but Vinny's my number one. LOL. Thank you for being here. I'm number one. Yes. Let's see. Denise DeLuca. There's no way she wouldn't have called her mother. Here's Kelly, the OG. My hubby would freak once dinner time passed and I wasn't home. So, yeah, but to me, these new details, though, do explain things a lot better in either direction, but really help with his demeanor, because they're not in love. They're not in love. It's an arranged marriage. They're kind of trying to work their way through it. And I guess people in arranged marriages can fall in love. But here, that didn't seem to be the fact based upon what happened in February and based upon his reaction to all of this. He just doesn't look like a guy who's missing the love of his life. I've seen more emotion from friends and more desperation from her brother, who's in Nepal, who just wants to come to this country and search for his sister. Catherine Mooney, they were arguing, they were fighting. Indeed. Is the baby his? Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. The baby's his. And there's no indication of anything to the contrary. Patricia Banks. YouTube is unsubscribing me again. What does that mean? How does that happen? Let's get Vinny to 100K. Yeah, 100K. We'll get there. It's been a slow summer. I've been doing a lot of work on my TV show, which we relaunched the 9 o'clock hour. And it's taken up a lot of my extra time. But thank you, Patricia. Melly, you matter. Love to all my DV victims and survivors. National DV hotline up here. There's the number. Gen X, where to find court TV in your area. You got to watch my show Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 closing arguments with Vinnie Politan, 9 to 10. Vinnie Politan investigates 2 hours, unscripted, live, true crime on television. And go right here to Gen X's post, and you can find out how to watch court TV in your neighborhood. And here's the husband's name, if anyone was wondering, from Shaza. Thank you, Shaza. And Prince Lover. She was not allowed to drive or have a cell phone. I'm thinking about that. And I'm not one to jump on anyone else's culture. But not allowed. Could you imagine in your house? Yes, dear, you're not allowed to have a cell phone. That's not happening. That's like, why? Why not? Why not? To keep someone captive, to keep someone reliant on you? I don't understand that. Like, just to get to work, just to communicate. You have a baby, but you have a baby. Okay, not allowed to drive or have a cell phone, but you got to go to work every day. What? What world is that? What world is that? No driving, no cell phone, but you got to go to work every day. How does that work? How does that work? You don't want someone to have a cell phone, you want them to drive, then take care of them. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, I'm setting rules. I'm setting rules for you. Is that part of the arrangement? How does that work? I don't understand that. Oh, Kimberly says she had a cell phone. Did she have it with her? Did she leave it at home? Yeah, we put the picture up already on Court TV. Yeah, we will be reaching out to the husband. The Washington Post reporter was working this for a few days and could not get a return call, return text, or an answer at the door from the husband. And I'll show you again. I'll show you some of the times I have the clips of the husband being approached by the media and also speaking at one of the gatherings. Take a look.
Report her missing
Friday. Officially, police knows on Friday.
But according to police, her employer at the hospital called in. We're told Mamta is a pediatric nurse.
Kavli's husband was not here, but spoke to everyone here on the phone. He says he was home taking care of the baby, and here's part of what he told people.
To help her or help, to find her. Especially, I'm very worried about, she's my baby's mom, she's my wife.
Outside of the Manassas Park Police Department, we found Mamta's husband, who had been inside for hours.
I'm suffering from a lot.
I know, yeah, and we're obviously trying to do our part because it's been so long. I asked him what his message to the community was to help him find his wife. To help her bring her home if they see her. That's the message? Yes. Okay, to help her bring her home. So you wouldn't want to just say, if you see her?
That's the message. So you're like, I don't want to do something.
That body language is something else, right? It wants nothing to do with that reporter, but he's not running away. And this is from Ogadal Ogadal. Can't wait for the Tesla driving information. Yeah, you have a Tesla. All that stuff, I believe, is pretty much recorded. The whole car is just one big computer. What's the neighborhood situation like? Do they live in an apartment complex or a single family home? My understanding is a single family home, right? Nice little neighborhood in Manassas Park. That's my understanding from the images. I mean, we saw it. I think we saw the front door right here in this report.
Report her missing.
Friday. Officially, police knows on Friday.
Yeah, it looks like a single family, nice little neighborhood. So I think they have a few dollars. I mean, I don't think they're poor by any means. I mean, I think they're working people. Jennifer Sube was thinking of the song Roxanne as well. All right. Is he really ex-law enforcement or is that a rumor? Princess Mariposa. I haven't gotten a strong vibe on that yet. I heard that she had lived with someone while they were married when he was deployed. And when I heard that, I presumed that he was in the military. Gen X loves the Sunday night specials. Indeed. Sunday night specials. 843 Amy. Thank you, 843 Amy. Thank you for your support on this Sunday night special. How long have they been married? Well, the information that I'm working from here was an arranged marriage in 2020. Then she came to this country in 2021. I guess after COVID. And the baby will be a year old, I think, next month. Vinny, moms don't just take off and leave their babies behind, says Kim K. I really fear for this woman. The warning signs are glaring. Absolutely glaring. Absolutely glaring. Candace, thank you, Vinny, for covering this story. Yep, we're going to cover this one. Absolutely. 5 Green Acres. Vinny, how are ratings for the new format, Vinny Politan Investigates, compared to the regular show? I like the old lineup. So, I don't know what that means, the old lineup, but the ratings have been really good. They've been really good. 5 Green Acres. They were good before, but they're continuing to do well. But thank you, Green Acres. And Lulu Gumshoe. Lulu, been watching Vinny for a long time. So nice to connect with him here. Thank you, Vinny, for bringing attention to his little lady. I'm praying. Did Mamta have an Apple Watch or similar? That would be interesting to take a look at all the pictures of her online and see if she had an Apple Watch. I think there's a couple of things we can all agree to, though. She's not going to leave without her baby. And she's not going to not call her mother. Right? And those two facts say there's something going on here. Those two facts tell me something else going on here. How and where did she call her mom? Just curious. According to her brother, she called every morning, every night. Not, it was like a check-in call. Talk about mundane things like what she had for dinner. I mean, it was that type of relationship. She's very close to her mother, who's in Nepal. So obviously she can't see her mom on a daily basis, but can call her on a daily basis. Let's see. I'm not too far behind in the comments here. Just want to catch up, and then we'll wrap up for this Sunday night special. Could a language barrier be part of his behavior and body language? Well, he could just not be comfortable being on camera. I mean, there are people like that. I just don't want to be on camera. So he's trying not to be, maybe not trying to be rude, and at the same time, not wanting to go on camera. I mean, that's very, very possible. Very, very possible. This is one I'd like to see. Neighbors' cameras. Definitely would like to see what's going on with that. Definitely want to see some of the cameras. Melly loves VPI. Thank you, Melly. Padiel, where are all your channels listed, Vinny? My channels. Well, when you say my channels, I'm not sure what you mean, but I will say this. You go on courttv.com to find out how you can watch Court TV wherever you live. Now, you can obviously watch it on the app on your phone. You can watch it at courttv.com. There's a button you hit to watch the live stream of what Court TV is showing at that moment. Then we're on Roku. We're on the pay-for YouTube TV. If you have a Samsung television, we're on Samsung Plus streaming service. We're on a bunch of other streaming services. And 40% of the cable networks. And if you have a digital antenna, 90% of the country. So there's a lot of ways to watch Court TV, but if you go to courttv.com, where to watch tab, then you can find where I am. Now, channels on social media, I'm right here on YouTube. I also appear sometimes on the Court TV YouTube channel. A lot of my clips are on there from my shows. And where else? Facebook. It's my name and Court TV, Vinny Politan Court TV. X is Vinny Politan. Twitch is Vinny Politan. And Instagram is Vinny Politan. There you go. I think I covered it all. All right. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to wrap it up. It's getting a little late. Sunday night. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining me. If you can you post? If you can, you know what I'm going to do? I think I've posted this on my Facebook page, but we should post. There's a little post. There's an actual poster. I think I posted it on my Facebook page. I'll go check. So we can start sharing this. Start sharing her image. All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Great to see everyone. And thank you to the Mod Squad, Gen X, Frankie Figs, Jennifer Sube, and Melly, keeping law and order in the chat room. Thank you, everyone, for supporting and being a part of the community. 1,500 on a Saturday night. I'll take it. I'll take it every time. Have a great night, everyone. And please don't forget to hug.